Good morning. Hope you guys are having an amazing morning. Welcome to Millionaire Brand Creation. Today, I'm going to teach you guys 11 tactics to really infiltrate and market to the high-end consumers. And I think as you move up in your real estate world trying to sell luxury products, it's really important to understand these 11 things, plus one, that will help you in your business world trying to sell luxury. Oh, can you hear me okay? I assume you can. So these are 11 strategies for marketing to high-end consumers. Let's jump into it and let's get going. So as you probably know, especially like Gen Z and millennials, I think you guys know the difference between that. Millennials were born in the 1980s and 1990s. Gen Z were born in the early 2000s. And what you're seeing today, especially in consumer products, especially during a recessionary economy, people are tied more to brands now than ever, right? So branding matters, luxury matters. Our generation in the past 30 years is willing to spend a huge premium price for a specific brand, right? And that's kind of the dynamic that I want to talk to you guys about is how do you curate and become a luxury brand that a lot of people want and a lot of people will tie into, right? That's kind of the game. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the 11 ways that you can draw in high-end luxury consumers, whether it be as a real estate agent or as an entrepreneur. So number one, if you have your pen and papers ready, is first you must build a high-end consumer profile. What does that mean? Well, the first tip to marketing to a premium buyer or seller is to build a high-end consumer profile. You have to refine your consumer profile and make efforts to market on the high end by building in features that will further impact and reach a relationship with those potential customers. So how do you do that? Well, the first way to do that is you must define who it is that you want to market to. I always say, and you've looked at the past of what we talked about, you have to understand your niche, right? You have to really take a piece of paper and say, over the past 6 months to a year, what specifically has made me the most money, right? And niche down and niche down and niche down. And when you're looking at luxury consumers, especially in the real estate market, you have to know specifically where your sellers and buyers are coming from. Maybe it's the high end in Chandler. Maybe it's the high end in Dallas. Maybe it's the high end in Austin. And continue to niche down, right? What are the neighborhoods in those high-end areas that you've done the most business? Where are the neighborhoods where you have the most clout, right? Where are the neighborhoods and where are the dynamics of where you're doing the most deals, et cetera, right? And what you want to do is you want to build your profile based on those demographics, based on that buyer or seller persona, and you want to have data to support that established profile. So if you were on Closers Club today, Suzanne, Lisa, Alfonso, and myself, and many others talked about ways to journal and track your data. The biggest mistake a lot of people are making is the fact that they don't know what it is they're successful at from a data numeric standpoint, and they're not tracking their successes or their failures. If you don't know, there is no way you are going to grow, right? That's the dynamic we always talk about. And the more that you track your daily routines and your money-making habits, the more you're going to understand what it is that's making you money, what it is that these luxury consumers are biting on as far as marketing, et cetera, and what it is that you can do to further establish yourself in the market. So a recap, number one is build a high-end consumer profile. Number two, you must meet high-end consumers where they are, one platform at a time. I talked to Brennan, I talked to some of the people that might be on the call, and what you need to do is if you want to do business in a certain area, you must spend time in that area, right? And if you can't live there, if you can't afford to live in that area, you must spend time there in breakfast, lunch, dinner, social hours, happy hours, events, parties, etc., because meeting consumers where they are is vital to success in marketing to them. And another way you can do that, obviously, is by utilizing social media and taking a look at the different platforms that you might find some demographics are on more than others, right? Studies show that millennials and Gen Z prefer Facebook, where Gen Z, let me rephrase that, millennials prefer Facebook. So an older demographic, right? Millennials, baby boomers, etc., prefer Facebook because it was an older adoption platform. And Gen Z, who is the younger demographic, prefers Instagram, right? So if you're marketing to the high-end consumer, use logic, right? You're marketing to an older demographic most of the time because older people have had a longer runway. They've had a longer amount of time to grow their net worth and purchase high-end properties or to procure high-end items, right? So older people prefer Facebook, younger people prefer Instagram, older people prefer LinkedIn, younger people prefer TikTok. Understand who it is that you're marketing to. Now, both of these platforms, Instagram and Facebook, are obviously great choices when it comes to marketing, but you must know your consumer well, and that will, more importantly, tie into your success, right? So you can't be a secret agent, as we all know. You can't be someone that's hidden from the public. You must be known to your consumers. Whatever it is that you're selling, those people consuming it must know what you are doing. The biggest problem that I see a lot of people make is they are not making enough offers, right? They're not making enough offers in their video content. If you look at Grant Cardone, if you look at Elena Cardone, if you look at Brandon Dawson, if you look at Tarek El Moussa, if you look at Heather Ray Young, if you look at a lot of people with public personas, you look at their stories, you look at their posts, they're constantly making offers to see if you guys actually bite on any of the things that they're trying to sell. So what real estate agents and or people trying to grow their team are doing wrong is they're posting content about their dog, about their food, about all these things, which are great because it further impacts your brand awareness, but you're not making enough offers to people consuming your content. So what does that mean? Well, if you follow Haas Pratt, who's one of our partners at EXP, Haas in one of his teachings says you make guarantees, right? You make a claim, like I will sell your house in 28 days or less, or you pay nothing for the commission. Click down below if you want to learn more, right? That's an offer. And someone looking at that is going to go, oh, I want to sell my house in 28 days or less. I'm going to click on that thing, right? And maybe that click goes to a landing page where they only ask for a minimal amount of information, maybe an email address, and they type in that email address and it goes to your calendar or something to that effect, right? It goes to, oh, this is my guidebook. It's selling your house in 28 days or less, right? You're making a claim. That claim obviously has exclusions to it and things that the seller must do in order to make that claim, but you should constantly be making offers, right? So to recap, number one, build a high-end consumer profile. Number two, meet high-end consumers where they are, one platform at a time. So now you're understanding luxury consumers in the older demographic are absorbing content through LinkedIn and through Facebook first. Younger demographics are absorbing content through Instagram and TikTok first. So understand your consumer profile, right? And I cannot stress this enough. Social media now has become an invaluable tool in marketing to high-end consumers because what you're doing is you're hitting the consumer directly to where they actually absorb content, right? Number three. So I just want to make sure you guys have these. Number one is build a high-end consumer profile, right? What is it? Who is it that you're trying to market to? Number two, meet high-end consumers where they are, one platform at a time, digitally and in person. Digitally and in person. So many people are hiding behind their computers. They don't have the social skills of going out and putting themselves in social situations where they're going to meet potential clients. And I would argue the touches that you make in person are far more recognizable and memorable than the touches that you make online. So keep that to your mindset. Number three, utilize income targeting. Finding your consumer audience based on income targeting can pay off extremely quickly, right? You have to understand how people are targeted as far as advertisements, right? Digital advertising, Facebook advertising, YouTube advertising. What are they doing? Well, on the back end, they're putting cookies on all your clicks, right? So let's say as a girl, you like a Dior purse, or you like Christian Louboutin shoes, or as a guy, you like Rolex watches, or as a guy, you like Aston Martin cars, or as a gal, name the product, right? These cookies are establishing your clicks, and they're also looking at how long you are spending time in these basic areas of information, right? Why do you think it is that when you're looking at watches, or you're looking at purses, or you're looking at that next car, you're getting ads all the time popping up on Facebook, Instagram, and all the platforms that you're clicking on, right? Because they're searching your cookies. So what you have to do is you have to create that consumer profile to understand, okay, if I'm selling this $1 million house in Dallas, Texas, what is that consumer that buys the majority of these $1 million houses in Dallas, Texas, right? Who is the type of consumer? Maybe they're a family, maybe they're a family with a nuclear family with 1 to 2 kids. Maybe they work, in downtown Dallas, right? Create these avatars of places where they hang out. Maybe they go to the dog park. Maybe they shop at this certain high-end store in Turtle Creek, right? Maybe they do all of these things. And when you're data centric, you're starting to realize exactly who your buyer pool is. The biggest mistake that people do when they're targeting the high end is they're trying to be the curator and the acceptor of everyone. Not everyone has the means to accept and adopt your content. Not everyone has the means to buy that $1 million plus home or list that $1 million plus home. But there are certain people based on your demographics that are perfect for that purchase to that extent. So number 3, utilize income targeting. Number 4, target your competitor's audience with Facebook and Instagram ads. You know that phrase, keep your friends close and your enemies closer? It's a fantastic strategy when you can complement high-end marketing to consumers and understand in your marketplace, how do the top people in your current market to those people, right? So let's say you're in Newport Beach. Let's say you're in LA. Let's say you're in Dallas, right? Let's say you're in Charleston, South Carolina. What are the top agents or top entrepreneurs doing in that market? And you're seeing their name pop up over and over and over and over, right? Start figuring out, what are the markets they're targeting? What are the things that they're talking about on their Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn profiles? What are the things that they're sponsoring? What charity events are they going to, right? What meetup groups are they a part of? And start putting yourself in those situations with those same people and reverse engineering how they're getting their business so you can procure that business from them as well, right? You want to start making a list of your competitors. When creating the target audience for your ads in Facebook, etc., you want to understand who are the top people in your marketplace, who are the people that have the most signs in the ground, who are the people that are doing the most business, and what are they doing differently that you can learn from, that you can implement in your business, right? It's not one size fits all. A lot of the people doing huge business are obviously larger teams, right? If you're a smaller team, who is the person who is a bespoke agent and or broker doing the most business? Like here in Paradise Valley, for example, the highest end bespoke agent slash broker is Joan Levinson with Realty One Group, right? Her average sale in Paradise Valley is like $6 million. And she only has 2 or 3 people in her group. Very small little team. She runs the whole show. She has a great inner circle, and she understands that component of target demographic when it comes to, figuring out who it is to market to. So just to recap, so you guys, if you came in late, number one, build your high-end consumer profile. What do they look like? What are they consuming? What are they buying? Two, meet high-end consumers where they are, one platform at a time. This means becoming more robust on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever it is that you want to consume. And remember, older demographics are spending more time on Facebook and LinkedIn, and younger demographics are spending more time on Instagram and TikTok. So plan accordingly. Number three, utilize income targeting. What other items are your target demographic purchasing, right? If they're buying a $2 million house, most likely they're probably a Mercedes or a Porsche owner or things of that nature. Most likely they own a Rolex watch, right? Most likely they're going to a certain grocery store. Most likely their kids are going to a certain school. Most likely they're spending their time talking about and or curating philanthropic events and or time in certain areas. Put yourself in those areas, right? And number four, target your competitors' audience with Facebook and Instagram ads. You must reverse engineer the person who is the board leader and do exactly what they're doing that best suits you, right? If you're a small team, don't obviously take a look at a large team with 100 people and try to copy what they're doing, right? Go to that person who's the bespoke top person in your market, copy, reinvent the wheel, put it into your situation. Number five, position your brand messaging and designs to match your audience. This is a big one. So number five, position your brand messaging and position your brand messaging and design to match your audience, right? So if you're looking to capture the luxury marketplace, you have to make sure that who and where you are marketing is a luxury marketplace, right? If you're in a low-end grocery store doing a video trying to target people shopping at a high-end grocery store, you're missing your profile. You follow me? If you're in front of your Toyota Tacoma and you're trying to market to someone who is a driver of a Porsche or Mercedes, you are missing your target profile. If you're highlighting a $300,000 or $400,000 house and you're trying to target someone in the $1 million to $2 million market range, you are missing your target profile. So remember, understand your target profile and understand what it is that they like to consume, right? Why do you think I talk about luxury watches? Why do you think I talk about luxury trips, right? Because that is my consumer. That's the type of agents I want to attract. That's the type of people I want to buy and sell houses for. That's the type of people I want to build houses for, etc. So become that person that you want to attract. Number six, take advantage of influencer marketing. In an age where influencers seem to be everywhere, why wouldn't you take advantage of influencer marketing? And this tactic is really simple because basically it's using other people with thousands of followers on these social media platforms to endorse or sell your product. And the key is finding influencers who align with your product or service. So let's say you're a real estate agent with EXP. The best way to do that is go on Instagram or Facebook and figure out specifically who has the most eyes, who has the most followers, who has the most people that are in auxiliary spaces. Maybe that person is in mortgage. Maybe that person is in title. Maybe that person is in hard money lending. Maybe that person could be a myriad of different things, is a plumber or is an electrician, or maybe that person is a travel blogger, right? You should be constantly reaching out to these people with high followership and saying, hey, I love your profile. I love your marketing. Is there a way that I could help promote you and we can cross brand and align with our business structure? I don't understand why more of you guys aren't doing this. It's a gold mine of opportunity. You should be constantly reaching out to auxiliary businesses and promoting them. And for those of you with EXP looking to grow your downline, you should constantly be reaching out to followers that have large Instagram and Facebook followerships and saying, hey, I love your brand. I'd love to promote you. Can we get on a call and figure out a way that we can help promote one another, right? And what if they're with a different broker? Great. Maybe that will spawn into a conversation where you could do a deal together. Maybe that'll spawn into a conversation where you can invest together. Maybe that will spawn into a conversation where you could do a podcast together. Maybe that'll spawn into a conversation where, hell, they'll join your team at EXP and you make rev share together, right? There's all these ways of number 6 to take advantage of influencer marketing. The great first step in taking advantage of influencer marketing is to offer an ambassador program or sponsor an influencer directly in return for an honest review of your product or a review from the audience of what it is that you're selling, right? So let's say that you're, a real estate agent in that situation and you say, hey, I'd love to bring in your photography, right? An example I get all the time are photographers wanting to give me their services for free for me to see how great they are so I can promote them, right? And the best way for you as an agent, if you're an agent listening in, is to go in and talk to different people, with photographers, with stagers, with people that are house cleaners, with people that are influencers, and whatever it is they're doing, and say, hey, I'd love to cross promote you. I'd love to do a little event with you. What ways can we come together and cross promote our brand? Because they're all in because your eyes are looking at their product, and you're all in because their eyes are looking at your product, right? It's an undeniable source to do that. Number 7, you must apply the exclusivity principle. What does that mean? 7, apply the exclusivity principle. Applying the exclusivity principle is an abstract tactic in marketing that allows you to influence your consumer through price and demand. The tactic can also help define what needs your customer may have. So consumers, when you look at the psychology of a high-end consumer, they often assume more value to products or services that are offered in fewer quantities. I'm going to say that again. Consumers often assume more value to products and or services that are offered in fewer quantities. You know the popular term FOMO, right? Fear of missing out is slang acronym for consumers feeling left out. If others have what they want, they're getting what they want, and they don't know why is it that that person's getting it and I'm left out in the cold, right? They want to act now. You've been in that situation maybe 2, 3, 4 months ago, right? And you've been a seller in your marketplace and you had this unbelievable listing. It was a unicorn listing and you had 100 different people that wanted to make offers, right? That was FOMO on the buyer's part. They were fear of missing out of the property. So they're bidding. They're putting all these consumer clauses in there to outbid the next person. And technically, as we have realized 30, 45 days later, they probably overpaid for that product, right? But that's what consumers want. If I could tell you anything when it comes to marketing, people always want what they can't have, and people always want that is very scarce and in very high demand and in low quantities. Any market. Why have high-end consumer watches gone precipitously up in value the last 3 or 4 years? Less product, more demand, right? Supply chain issues. There's not a lot of things on the market. Prices go up, right? New build homes. Permitting is extremely slow across the United States. It's very expensive to build a brand new home right now. If a new home that has all the options that people want in your marketplace comes on the market and it's in high demand in a high demand area, people want that property. And it's funny, psychologically, the first thing most people ask is, do you have any other offers? Why do you think it is they're asking that question? Because if you have other offers, it reaffirms in their mind that this is desirable, right? Oh my God, you've only been on the market 1 hour. and I already have 3 offers. I want it more, right? I want it more. People want what other people want. So when you're creating that marketing dynamic, when you're putting yourself out to the high-end consumer, you must be very cognizant of time drains, right? Because I get people all the time saying, "Hey, you sell a house in Apache Junction for 3 or 400 grand, and unless they're a client that I've done a lot of business with, I'll refer them to someone else." Because really, that is a time suck waste of my time where I'm going to be spending 100 hours on something that I'll make a very small commission in relation to the amount of time, unless we already have an established relationship. So you got to understand and really take into account, right? You want to do less business in the higher end, because the more deals you do and that price point goes up, the more money you're going to make for the same amount of work. And how do you do that? You understand that luxury consumer. Number 8, we talked about this before on Closers Club, right? Suzanne and Alfonso asked me, what is your morning routine, right? What are you tracking? What are the things that you're obsessive about? I'm obsessed about routine. And if you talk to anyone that follows me or anyone that knows what I've done in my life, it's because I have done the small things incrementally every day for the past 10, 15 years of my life that got me where I am today. And there's no reason why you guys can't do the same. So number 8, measure and track your marketing efforts and KPI. How do you do that? Well, the first thing that I would recommend doing, if you guys haven't already, is number 1, sign up for KV Core. If you're with EXP, you can go on EXP Enterprise, put your information in there, and you will get KV Core in a week or 2. That's a robust CRM that you get for free by being a part of EXP Realty. That's step number 1. Step number 2, if you're looking to procure and or reach out to other agents, maybe you want to grow your downline, maybe you want to grow your buyer and seller pools. The second CRM, if you're serious about doing this, that I would recommend going on, is called CRM Grow. CRM Grow. And what that CRM can do is it can track video content that you're sending out to your clients. It can track how long your clients are watching and absorbing that video content. And the reason you want all this information is because you want to start keeping lists of those things that are important to you, right? And the reason, if you look at my Instagram and or Facebook stories, that I post stories every day about me working out, is that to me is a measure and a tracking of my efforts of working out and walking. If I post a story every day, I can go back on my Instagram stories and say, yes, I've been working out this time. I can track it. I can track visually how things have changed for me visually, etc. But the biggest thing that you guys should be tracking, if you're not tracking it already, is your net worth and your cash flow statements. Your net worth and your cash flow statements. If you guys are looking for a net worth sheet, feel free to DM me, follow me if you haven't already on Instagram, and DM me and say, hey, I liked your Millionaire brand creation today. Can you send me your net worth tracking sheet? And I'll be happy to DM you that tracking sheet. Because if you don't know what your net worth was last month, last year, last 5 years, and you're not tracking it into the future, there is no way to grow your net worth unless you have an idea of what it is, right? The second thing that you guys want to really take into account as far as your marketing and your financial growth is what monies are coming in every single day and what monies that have to go out, right? So for me, I have an Excel spreadsheet of my net worth, and the second Excel spreadsheet that I helped create, which could be different for you, is what monies do I have coming in throughout the month that I know are predictable sources of income, and what monies do I have going out every single day that are predictable expenses, right? Utilities, maybe it's your mortgage, maybe it's your rental mortgage, maybe it's your school, your kids' tuition, etc. Track these things. And in your marketing efforts, that's why CRMs like CRM Grow or KV Core are so great to track your KPI and your marketing, because you're able to track your touch points of how you're reaching your consumers, right? So what is KPI? KPI is your key performance indicator, and it tracks milestones and progress reached in a given amount of time. Some examples of KPI that you might want to track. You might want to track revenue per client, right? If a client that has made you $100,000 in 1 year calls up, most likely you're going to drop a lot of different things and take their call, right? If a client that has made you, $500 last year calls up and is a time suck, you're going to be less likely to give them the time that they need. Another thing that you should be tracking if you're a team leader, you should be tracking your agents and if they're capped or not, what was their last home sale. And it's very interesting. And I don't know if this rings true for you and your organization. If you have more than 5 frontliners, and what you will see is that people and parts of your team that are doing less business are sucking more of your time. Raise your hand or look at in the comments of the people that are sucking the majority of your time that are making you less money. You have to be very, very careful with that. You want to help your agent succeed, but you don't want to give them your time if in turn they're not going out and implementing these 11 things to make themselves more successful. The next thing that you can track in KPI is your profit margin, right? If you're putting a lot of money in marketing every month, how much are you making back in gross revenue? You should track all that. The next thing that you should look at is client retention. If a client decides to go with another agent in your marketplace and you find out, 2 months later that they bought another $1 million house from another agent, you should ask yourself why, right? Why did they use someone else? What was the reasoning? What things can you be doing better to make sure that you're in front of them 24/7 so when a deal pops up, they're thinking of you, they're only thinking of you. So let's do a little recap. The first of the 11 ways to attract high-end consumers is this. Build a high-end consumer profile, right? Become what it is that you want to attract. Number 2, meet high-end consumers where they are, one platform at a time, okay? Remember, Facebook and LinkedIn, older demographic, Instagram, TikTok, younger demographic. Make sure that you're going to events in person and doing those handshakes and kissing those babies because those will lead to more deals. Number 3, utilize income targeting. If you're not tracking what it is that you're doing, you're not going to be making as much money as you would hope. Number 4, target your competitors' audience with Facebook and Instagram ads. Reverse engineer who the top person in your marketplace is and reverse the way that they are successful so you can implement it in your own business. Number 5, position your brand messaging and designs to match your audience. So many people out there are not positioning themselves in the luxury space if that's what it is that you're looking to attract. Number 6, take advantage of influencer marketing. Reach out to influencers who are successful, right? I'm going to take my jacket off. It's pretty hot in here. Getting turned on. You guys are getting too hot. But take advantage of influencers out there, right? Take advantage of those with robust followings. Take advantage of those that are out there doing a lot of business that are auxiliary components to your business. If you're a real estate agent, who's the mortgage guy doing the most business? Who's the title rep and agent doing the most business? Who is the photographer doing the most business, right? Who's the divorce lawyer doing the most business? These are all auxiliary products to our real estate business. Number 7, apply the exclusivity principle. The ultra wealthy don't want to be bombarded with a bunch of low-end shit, okay? They want exclusivity. They want you to have a curated experience. They want it to feel special. They want it to feel that they are different than the other people. Number 8, measure and track your marketing efforts and KPI. We talked about that in more detail. And the key is You guys got to track what's important to you. Maybe spending time with your family is important. Maybe working out is important. I guarantee you money is important or you wouldn't be on here to begin with. So you should be tracking your money religiously, right? Track your revenue per client, track your profit margin, track your client retention. All of those things will lead to high-end consumers wanting to do business with you. So we did that 8. Now let's go to number 9. This is important, so I hope you guys are taking notes. Number 9 is reward and recognize your consumer. Number 9, reward and recognize your consumers. So rewarding and recognizing your consumers is a sure way to maintain a connection and keep them coming back for more. This strategy establishes relationships with your customers and allows for many benefits, including increased engagement, positive reviews, overall satisfaction, because by valuing your consumer, you can be sure they are recognized for their loyalty and their business with them is maintained with you. So the biggest thing that a lot of people don't do is just because you had a client 6 months, a year ago, they should be in your Rolodex. You should be talking to them every 2 to 3 months. Hey, how are you? How's the kids? How was your anniversary? How was your birthday? They should be in your inner circle. So anytime someone brings up real estate, anytime someone says, oh, I have a house to sell, anytime an agent says, oh, I need to move my license, you become the top of the mind person. Okay. Number 10. This goes back to CRM. This goes back to tracking all of these things. You must. This isn't even like a recommendation. This is a prescription. You must start an email list and or newsletter. Starting an email list or newsletter can be key when communicating with consumers with one-to-many. Doing so can result in maintained relationships with clients, as well as defined and structured plan in place for getting the work done. I can't tell you guys how important this is, right? You got to be in front of your clients. You got to be in front of other agents in a consistent basis. Because if you're not, you're going to be forgotten. And the biggest problem and the biggest mistake so many agents make is they don't have enough face time with their clients and with other agents that are possibly looking to join your team, right? So how can we do this? Well, simply invite your clientele to sign up for your email list or newsletter. Send them one every week or every other week or every month. Detail what's going on in your business. What opportunities and future plans can they be a part of? You might want to even go to the extra step and invest in your consumers by offering them a reward or recognition for their ongoing support, right? Maybe send them a Starbucks gift card. Maybe pick one of the people that sign up for your email list and or your CRM and send them a dinner to Mastro's, right? One of the best ways to implement this strategy is by setting up a form on your website so that users can sign up for your newsletter. That should be probably your top page. Hey, I curate a lot of VIP events in my area. I'd love for you to be a part of it. Sign up, put your email there so the next time I have a kick-ass event, you will be on the VIP list. How many people would sign up for that? I would. And last but not least, the 11th. Number 11 is probably the most important, right? What is it that makes the difference between a 5-star hotel and a 4-star hotel? What's the difference between a Mercedes and a Bentley, right? What's the difference between a Patek Philippe and or a Rolex? They're different brands, right? There's a different level of curation. And the answer to that, which is number 11, is personal touch. Personal touch can communicate a lot, especially in marketing to high-end consumers. When customers feel that they have been spoken to personally, they are more likely 9 times out of 10 to return as a customer and spread the words to others. Here are a few ways to add personal touches. If you have your notes out, I'd write these down. Number 1, Personalized thank you notes. Don't ask them for business. All you say is, hey, Jackie, Jerry, I just wanted to thank you. It was really great meeting you. I always appreciate spending time with you and taking you to lunch and helping curate the sale of your home. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Just was thinking about you, right? Personal thank you notes is great. And again, if you remember from past episodes, do not put your business card in there. Sign them with your first name. They will know who it's from. If they don't, they will remember who it is because you have that interpersonal relationship. The next thing that you should think about doing is a Christmas card or maybe a little ornament during the holiday season, right? If they're Jewish, they're celebrating Hanukkah, and or they're Christian, they're celebrating Christmas. Do something for the holidays. Maybe a happy holiday card. I know a lot of people are doing Thanksgiving drives and giving out pies. All those little touches, right? Here's a good one actually. When I sold any home that I sold over $1 million to a client, the gift that I would give them that was really impressive, you can steal this if you want. I think a lot of people liked it, was if I made $30,000 or more on commission, I would buy them 2 engraved champagne glasses from Tiffany's, which was probably about $180. And then I had a wine wholesale broker get me a bottle of Cristal or Dom Perignon or Veuve Clicquot or whatever. And I would deliver in the Tiffany's blue bag and the Tiffany's box, the champagne flutes and the high-end champagne. Something to the effect of, here's a toast to your success. Here's a toast to home ownership. Congratulations on this monumental accomplishment for you and your family. I'd love to share laughs and conversation over a glass of champagne with you guys. That's what I did. And people seem to remember it. And that $350, $400 investment for me making 30 grand was something that curated in their minds and made my clients think of me during the next step. The next thing that you should do is always direct email or phone call to your clients to ensure their specific needs are being met. You should do this once every month or two. You should go through your client Rolodex list, give them a call, send them an email, do something to say, hey, I was driving by your house. I was thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. Just wanted to touch base, see how life's treating you. What's going on in your world? Maybe we should go to dinner. Maybe we should grab lunch. Just to strike up conversation. You're not there basically to procure business. You're there to become top of mind with your clients, to make sure that no matter what, you are that person that they're wanting to do business with. In addition to implementing a personal touch in your marketing to high-end consumers, you need to maintain good relationships with the purveyors of your product. So if you're an agent and or you're looking to attract agents to your downline, or you're an entrepreneur or whatever, you've got to make sure that you're not burning bridges unless they absolutely have to be burned. You have to maintain a friendly demeanor and good relationship with those people that you're doing business with. I can't tell you how important that becomes. So to cap, I just want to go over all these if you guys came in late. These are the 11 items basically to help curate and attract high-end consumers. Number 1, just to recap, you must build a high-end consumer profile. Number 2, you must meet high-end consumers where they are, both in person and online. Number 3, you must utilize income targeting. What are the people that are buying your homes? What are the agents wanting to join your team? What are the items that they're buying? Where do they shop? Where do they go to the grocery store? Where do their kids go to school? What kind of watches do they buy? What kind of cars do they buy? Where do they travel? All of those things should go into your marketing. Number 4, follow the leader. Target your competitor's audience with Facebook and Instagram ads. What are they doing so well that you can't reverse engineer with yourself? If someone's doing a lot of business and has the same agent count as you, what are they doing differently than you are? Copy them, implement it. Number 5, position your brand messaging and designs to match your audience. If you want an upscale look, you must present an upscale look. You want to attract high-end consumers, you yourself must be a high-end consumer. Number 6, take advantage of influencer marketing. This is a big one, guys. Why do you think I do all these podcasts? Why do you think I put myself out there time and time again as a teacher to help you guys succeed? Because I know in doing so, right, that pay it forward principle, you guys are going out there implementing these things. Hopefully, you're becoming more successful and you're attracting more people into your brand or business, right? That's the whole point. Consistently reach out to auxiliary influencers and start doing things with them. If it's other agents, promote other agents in your marketplace, even if they're competitors, because you'll be friendly with them. Maybe you can attract them. Promote and do opportunities with auxiliary businesses. If you're an agent, look for the lender doing the most business. Look for the title rep doing the most business. Look for the person doing home inspections who's doing the most business. Look at the photographer that's doing the most business. Look at the stager that's doing the most business. Reach out to them, get known by them, be a resource for them, promote them, and in turn, they will promote you. Number 7, apply the exclusivity principle. So many of you guys go, hey, I'm at Red Robin. I'm buying a cheeseburger right now. Buy my $200,000 house. That's not going to appeal to the luxury consumer. If you're looking to sell $1 million, $2 million house, you cannot be in front of your Toyota Tacoma trying to sell that product. You must understand the thought process of how the luxury consumer buys, right? It's an emotional experience. It's an emotional purchase. They want the best. They want quality. Talk about quality. Talk about craftsmanship. Talk about the legacy of the home. Talk about the materials used in the home. Talk about the guard-gated exclusivity of the home. Talk about the type of restaurants that are around the home. Talk about the best schools that are around the home. Hype up the exclusivity principle. That's big. Number 8, you got to measure and track your marketing efforts and KPI. Whatever is important to you, whether it be spending time with your kids, your spouse, your money, your agent count, your business, you must start to track it in Excel. And the first thing that you want to track is your net worth, because if you don't know, you're not going to grow. And as Grant Cardone will tell you, if they don't know you, they will not flow you. So if you don't even know what it is that you're worth, you don't even know what your value proposition is, they're not going to give you the business because you're not in front of them enough for them to want to give you the business, right? KPI stands for key performance indicators. You should be looking at your revenue per client. You should be looking at revenue per agent. If these clients or these agents aren't making you any money, you need to be very cognizant of time sucks and wasting your time on things that aren't giving you revenue and or filling your soul, right? Look at profit margin. You guys should be tracking cash flow statements. What monies do you have coming in every month? What monies do you have coming out every month? When do those need to be paid and why, right? Next thing you should be looking at is client retention. If your client goes to someone else, why are they going to someone else? Are you reaching out to your clients every month, 2 months, 3 months from a friendly standpoint? Are you creating relationships with your clients that stand the test of time? Number 9, rewarding and recognizing your consumers. Are you rewarding the people that do business with you? Are you like me? If someone spent $1 million or more and I made $30,000 or more on a deal, am I rewarding them with those Tiffany, champagne glasses and a beautiful bottle of champagne? Am I taking them out to dinner, right? What am I doing as a thank you to them that keeps them and myself top of mind when it comes to the value proposition? Number 10, start that email list. Are you guys utilizing KB Core? Are you guys utilizing maybe CRM Grow? Do you have a CRM? Do you have an email list? Do you know where all these people are, right? Are you collecting information? Information is the golden goose of the future. The more information, the more touch points you have with the consumer, the more business you're going to do. If you don't know who those people are, you don't know their emails, you don't know their birthdays, their anniversaries, their phone numbers, how can you expect for them to use you when you need them most, right? They're not going to. And last but not least, number 11, what are the personal touches that you're implementing within your personal brand and your business that's getting you that next level of curation and excitement in your business? And that's the key, guys. I mean, I hope those, answered your questions. I'm going to try to open this up here so I can look at any questions that you might have, any comments that you might have. You look in the comment section. Yeah, Lisa, thank you, Lisa, for coming on. We're doing this remote today, and maybe into the future, we'll be bringing on some more amazing guests. And as always, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your morning to curate and bring this content to light. My whole goal is to make you guys more successful. And when you guys have success, I'm really proud that you're implementing a lot of these tactics. And so many people have information overload, right? Take what works for you and discard what doesn't. If you're successful and you're gaining traction and you're really attaching that traction to something that you're doing every single day, whether it be with your health, with your business, with your money, these are things that you guys should be implementing as your daily habits and daily routine. And the more you do that, the more success you'll have over the long term. And I'll tell you, our business is very fickle, right? It's a feast or famine business, especially real estate. And when times get lean, which they do for everyone, you're going to fall back to your principles. You're going to fall back to your habits. You're going to fall back to the weakest link that you have in your psyche and your habits. So many people get afraid, right? Oh God, the world's crashing. Oh God, interest rates have gone up 200 basis points. Oh God, the market's going down. Well, let me tell you guys something. For every option, right, there's another person on the other side licking their chops going, this is an opportunity. When the stock market goes down, this is an opportunity for you guys to acquire, right, more stock. When the real estate market goes down, this is an opportunity for landlords to acquire more homes for them to rent, or for end users to finally be able to get into that house they couldn't get into a month or two ago. These hardships become opportunities for those agents who are smart enough to figure it out. So in a final thought, marketing to high-end consumers with effective marketing strategies will grow to retain high-end consumer bases, right? By following the tips that we talked about today, your brand is going to start reaching the correct high-end consumers, and to ensure that you have established relationships. Okay, let's see. Stephen and Deborah, how are you guys from San Antonio? What advice would you give to someone who does not come from a lot of money and is trying to get to the luxury space? That's a very, very, okay, this is a good reason. So the first thing that I would suggest that you do, Stephen and Deborah, is what monies you do have, you need to establish these three principles, right, to wealth creation. I think we've talked about this in the past. But the first thing that you need to do is you need to have an emergency fund, right? And in the time of maybe a slowing time that we might be heading into now, right? Economists think we have a 30 to 35% chance of recession for the next 10 months. The first thing that you need to do is create an emergency fund for you and for your business. So you should have, and you should be focused on having 6 to 12 months of cash for your business and for your personal needs. That should be your number one thing, okay? Especially during times of contraction. Once you have that set up, the second thing that you want to be focusing on in times of, contraction is you want to be focusing on taking out high interest consumer debt. So if you guys have credit card debt or you have interest, let's say over 7% on anything in your life, you need to eradicate that as soon as possible, because it's very hard to swim upstream when that current of debt and obligations are pushing back on you. Maybe you felt that, Stephen and Deborah, in your lives. I know a lot of people have. I felt it in my early 20s too. Once you do that, Then the second thing that you want to focus on is once you feel like you have your money game in control for the next 6 months minimum, you want to find ways that you can expand in your marketplace. So if there's a contraction in the market, right, let's say interest rates create opportunities where there's slightly more inventory in the San Antonio market, right? What you want to do is if you want to attract luxury home buyers and sellers, you guys need to spend more time in luxury areas of San Antonio. Maybe that's near the Riverwalk. Maybe that's in guard gated communities in San Antonio that are selling 800,000, $900,000, $1 million plus homes, right? Where are the golf courses that people are doing golf, right? Where are the places that people are staying at? What hotels are they staying at, right? Where are they doing their high-end lunch meetings? And what I would recommend is spending time in the vicinity of wealth. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money there. Like, let's say you go to a high-end restaurant. Instead of having dinner there, maybe you should have an appetizer, right? Maybe you should have a cup of coffee. Maybe you should have breakfast there and just buy a cup of coffee for $3 or $4 and not focus on the $30 breakfast. And so the reason you want to do that is you want to start documenting this content in high-end areas so consumers in the high end will start wanting to do business with you because you are like them, right? People want to do business with people like them. People want to do business with people that understand their lifestyle, right? That understand their needs. And so your most important need is your need for food, shelter, for business, for making sure that your family is doing well during times of struggle. Then once you have that box checked, you need to focus on spending times in high-end areas to procure more business and, more importantly, attract higher-end clientele. You don't need to spend a lot of money to do that, but you need to put yourself in the physical vicinity of where they are spending their time, right? Maybe it's a certain restaurant. Maybe it's a certain happy hour place. Maybe it's a certain gym. Maybe it's a certain shopping mall. Maybe it's a certain, place where they're doing philanthropy, right? Maybe it's a certain gala. Maybe it's a certain event. And what I would recommend to you guys is figuring out ways where you're there, where you're not spending a lot of your resources to be there. That's how you create a luxury book. People want to do business with likeness. They want to do business with people that live like them, that they see and they see daily. Hopefully that helps. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask them and or DM me, and I can get back to you on that. Are there any other questions? If you guys want to ask questions, we have 2 minutes left. I hope this information was helpful for you. But I'll tell you, the biggest mistake that I see real estate agents make is they focus on volume rather than price. I'll say that again. They focus on volume rather than price. I don't know about you, but it's the same amount of work for me to sell a $300,000 house as it is to sell a $3 million house. It'll take 10 $300,000 houses for me to sell one $3 million house. So if I can sell 10 $3 million houses a year and I have to sell, right, $300,000 houses a year, you tell me what's the easier metric to do. And as you move up that price point, which you will when you start curating some of these things, we all start in baby steps, right? If your average price per sale is 300,000, move up to 400. If yours is 400, move up to 500. If yours is 500, move up to 6. And you get the idea. And the only way you're going to know that is if you guys start tracking what moves that you're making is making you the most money. You got to make sure that you are making the best use of your time, the best use of your resources, and you're not wasting time with time sucks and situations that aren't making you and your family independently wealthy and free. So if you guys don't have any questions, we'll leave that here today. If you have any future questions, feel free to comment on this video. If you haven't already, please like it and or share it with some of your peers that you might find interesting. And if you guys want to implement what we talked about with influencers, I have a large following. If you want to share this video on your stories, I will more than happy share it on mine. So more eyes go to you. I will tell people to follow you, etc. Get more eyes on the prize. And remember, you guys are the prize. You guys have the ability to do what it is that you want. And I wish you much success this week, this month, and many years to come. So we'll see you guys next week. Matt, if you would be so kind as to sign us off. Hope you guys are doing great. Take care.